Ms. Harris, you look like you want to respond to that, what Dr. Evans just laid out for us.
Sure. I mean, there's been a tremendous amount of work that was done during the program reset period. There's no doubt about that. There are a lot of very important accomplishments, but at the same time, there's still a very large amount of work that needs to be completed with regard to the continued changes to the system, the configuration changes, as well as these user-driven projects. That in combination with what they are doing in parallel, which is getting these 4 sites ready to go live. I mean, that's going to take a tremendous amount of resources. We know within like the FHCC, for example, in Chicago, that there were some resources that were redirected from that system work to get the sites ready. So our concern is in the absence of an integrated schedule, as Mr. Case has been talking about, as well as a cost estimate to really know what it's going to take to get to that go live. It's just a big unknown.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Dr. Evans, why didn't the VA conduct an IDV test or assessment? IDV?
Yes, an IVNV.
Thank you.
I think,
considering it worked for the DoD, I'm curious why.
yeah, it's a good question. First of all, I think we've had a lot of attention in a very similar fashion to what an IVNV test would do with our staff and frankly staff from Oracle Health spending a considerable amount of time on the ground at our live sites, observing workflows from end to end and categorizing where the issues are. And those issues are the change requests that we have been working through during the reset. And you heard of the fact that there are 1,800 still that we are working through at the moment. Those are the change requests that have...
Would that assessment have problem solved instead of doing it the way that we did conduct it? I only ask that because we failed miserably. Would that assessment have solved that problem?
I mean, I don't think that it would
Because
have...
help me out with the numbers here, in a $10 billion project, we're 12 and a half into it, projected to go to $50 billion.
So here's what I would say is I think that with regard to identifying the issues that we need to fix, I think we have had an awful lot of help from our end users and frankly from our staff in identifying what those issues are that we need to fix. I would welcome a third-party assessment of what additional issues might be discovered, but I don't think we're going to find a significant set of surprise issues that we're not yet aware of.
I would imagine there's a whole laundry list of them, considering what the OIG just said. Ms. Verma, how long have you been in your position?
I've been in my position for about a year.
Of course. So CERNA, Oracle bought this project from CERNA, or I guess the best way to say that, correct?
Oracle acquired
Acquired
CERNA.
it?
Yeah.
And then I'm sure they were very well aware of the problematic issues that existed inside the EHR.
We've gotten more fully acquainted with those, yes.
I'm sure you are, considering where we stand today. What is your, give me, because you said update costs. I'm curious, what is Oracle projecting the cost of activating the EHR? Not in 2026, but downstream in all 172 facilities, plus the satellite campuses that you and I spoke about, Dr. Evans, when everything's up and running, what are we going with, considering we're well over our original budget?
So agree, just from a taxpayer perspective and former government official, I sort of understand the need to really be very careful with how we're using resources. And so just a couple of numbers. I heard the $50 billion estimate. I think that's an outside group that we haven't validated, so we don't agree with that estimate.
And you can't say you disagree with $50 billion and it costs 49.
Agree, but I don't think it needs to go to that level. I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to figure out how to run this program more efficiently. The other thing I would say is that out of the $10 billion, Oracle's received $5 billion. So there's some of the other estimates. Not all of that has gone to Oracle. I do think that the way to make sure that we're using taxpayer dollars efficiently, there's a couple of different things that we can do. Accelerating is really important. The longer the program goes on, the more that it's going to cost. There's also opportunities, even things around standardization. Like we've heard a lot of discussion about that, but when we standardize, we also reduce the number of additional configurations Even if we can get done some of the work around optimization, that also will decrease some of the, later on, some of the additional work that happens.
Sorry,
Integrations.
Mr. Verma, I apologize. Mr. Chairman, are we doing? Okay, forgive me, I'll circle back with you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.